Home team has scored first in every game so far in this series, and the Tips would love to get off on the right foot and get that early one here this evening, Justin.
I completely agree, Mike. It's a great start, would be huge.
Opening faceoff brought to you by Washington's Lottery. We're underway as Donovan Niles dumps it in, blocker side of Carter Hart, who bats this one to the near side to center ice, and already arm goes up, but from the linesman, so delayed offside, and play continues on. Connor Dewar floats it back in. As the first hit in this game as Riley Sutter nailed down to the ice at the right boards. After he comes back from a one-game suspension, he served in Game 3. Right side, Wyatt Wiley brings it in right side. Turned away, Turner Ottenbright clears this one ahead, but we get a stop with now 35 seconds gone, and already Ottenbright trying to stir the pot and get each and every member of the Silvertips' attention back on that bench, and the officials say one side.
Well, very eventful opening shift here for Riley Sutter. The first game back from the suspension.
We should also, by the way, mention that there is a Thunderbird player down on the ice right now. That is what has caught the attention of Matt Odette. So that all aside, it was a hit delivered by the Silvertips just inside the blue line, which took out Donovan Niles, and this is being discussed right now with 35 seconds into the game.
So right off the face-off there, as soon as the puck got out of the Everett zone, it was an eventful shift for Riley Sutter in the neutral zone. He was clocked pretty good out there by Dylan Hamelick with the puck nowhere really near him. He kind of got up with his head, looked around as if to say, how was that not interference? Because the puck really wasn't anywhere near Riley Sutter. Play continued on, and as the puck got moved behind the Seattle net, Sutter clearly was he wanted a little bit exact some revenge. He came out. This case, Niles had the puck near him, kind of spun at the last minute, and Riley Sutter delivered the hit. Nothing went up. No arms went up, Mike, as far as a penalty or not.
And look at this. Niles has to be helped off the ice by Thunderbird trainer Phil Varney and also Austin Strand. So the officials are discussing this. We don't see the penalty doors open right now, so it's unfair for us to comment, or at least in my behalf, as far as the nature of the hit. Well behind the plate, but it will continue at 5-on-5, and obviously the partisan crowd outside the glass disagrees with that.
Well, yeah, certainly that you would expect them to, and interesting to see here now already with needing to juggle some lines. What exactly will Coach Odette go with here, trying to replace Niles, who's a huge part of that line that he put out there to start this game.
And Riley Sutter, who is back in there at 6'4", already making a physical presence right off the bat. From the right point, Wiley, his shot, save made, and a rebound is out of the reach of Sean Richards, and back to center ice is Noah Philp. One-on-one into the offensive zone, cut by one, and his wrist shot just missed the net as he tried to go upstairs blocker's side. Ottenbright fires from the blue line and knocked down by Andre Valla. Sharp angle bid by Wedman and a save made, and that recent shift must have angered the Thunderbirds a little bit more, so they had some juice. Tips counter as now Fontaine. Left circle, knocked away, shoulder on shoulder by Ottenbright. And Wedman trying to steer for Nolan Volkin. Will relay back to center, and Wedman to lay it back in from the red line. Carter Hart back behind his own net. Now Christensen ahead for Reese Vitelli up the left wing. Checked away by Jackson Kaluski. Puck at center and laid back in by Christensen to the glove side of Liam Hughes. Game 4 just underway as Donovan Niles hit hard by Riley Sutter and sent off the ice as a result. Tips break in. Bryce Kindop right side. Knocked away by Austin Strand. Counterattack up the left wing, Kaluski. Spun away by the Silvertips. Davis relays ahead eventually for Reese Vitelli. Dumps it back in. Garrett Pilon jumping off the bench right now. Most effective goal scorer for the Silvertips so far in this series. He's got 4. And takes it away at the left side. Walking back up high. Low shot, save made. Rebound out of the reach of Connor Dewar. The initial bid off the left pad of Liam Hughes. Seattle counters, and Kaluski will airmail it back in. Blocker side corner of Carter Hart. Tips are back on the move as Ian Walker. Long lead pass steered up the right side, and Ottenbright lays the body into Garrett Pilon. So it's getting a little bit nasty out there with 17:34 to go here in period 1. Fontaine cruising through. Left wing Thunderbird zone, driving wide. Dropping it at the boards for Dewar, who's hit by Hamelick, recovering, and a shot knocked down. Loose puck in front, and Hughes just dives on it right before Dewar made a beeline toward the net. Patrick Bykov had a chance up high, but Hughes eventually covers up. And the Silvertips so far get the game's first 2 of 3 shots with 17:19 to go in period 1.
Yeah, a couple of opportunities there with the Silvertips. Pucks really close in on Liam Hughes' net. Dewar had a great deflection on a Pilon shot from out high. And then in this instance, Bykov let the shot go. Fontaine with the deflection, and again, sitting there asking to be tapped in, but Hughes, quick to react and get to it first, was able to freeze it and get a face-off here.
Tips have averaged 44 shots a game here in the playoffs. That is best in the entire playoffs so far. Seattle is worst. Volkett into the zone. His wrist shot blocked and deflecting out of play as Wyatt Wiley was in the lane. And we have 17:09 to go here in period 1. So the Silvertips not letting up at all as far as shot volume that they carry through regular season play. And they're trying to make Liam Hughes work every shift out there.
Yeah, you noted in their resiliency in Game 3 to be outshot the way they were early and to come back and actually get more shots on goal than the Thunderbirds. That was pretty impressive. Shows you their commitment to that.
24 the Thunderbirds had in the first period. 9 they had for the rest of the way. There's going to be penalties coming up here with Mike McLean pulled out of the pile. And also Patrick Bykov as well, so looking like it will be even up at 4-on-4 potentially here with 17:04 to go in period 1.
They came out of the face-off. They looked like a couple of bucks out in the open wild that had locked horns, locked antlers, and would not let go of each other. That's the way they came out of the face-off circle. They moved all the way over towards the boards and out towards the blue line, just locked together, sticks and arms kind of all tangled up, neither one backing down, and eventually they called the penalty on both.
Face-off left circle is controlled by the Silvertips, and Fontaine bats it off his glove to center ice and speeds his way in. Right wing, and a cross-ice pass behind Andre Valla. Vulcan steers one back through neutral and taken by Matthew Wedman. Right wing hits the brakes, low shot, save made, Carter Hart. Rebound just sent wide as now Jake Lee pinching in and hit into the corner by Valla. 16:42 to go. Lee circling up high, has some space now to the right circle, and a backhander save made by Hart, and he hangs on. So 1:33 to go on 4-on-4 time. Usually this is where it favors the Silvertips with their speed and deft touch with creativity. But Carter Hart, a spectacular save just moments ago when Jake Lee created his own space on a backhander from the right circle.
Yeah, Jake Lee showing a little bit of offensive ability there. The 01 born defenseman coming out, peeling off the left circle and driving on his weaker backhand towards the right circle. And Carter Hart was able to get in good position and get aligned and get the save for the Silvertips there on that opportunity for Seattle.
Those two have something in common. Both Sherwood Park, Alberta natives. Carter Hart got the best of the younger one. Tips break it back in now. Right wing Sutter to the circle feeding Dewar. Now looping back up high. He'll drop Sutter off the right boards. And now cycling Christensen. Rolls one toward the net low. And covered up by Hughes against the paddle as we now have 1:14 to go on 4-on-4 time. And a face-off will come back in the Seattle zone.
Yeah, Hughes very quick. Jump out above his crease a couple of times. A little bit of a speculative pass there from Christensen. Not sure whether he was designs of shooting that on target or if it got deflected, but it's made its way right in front of Hughes, and he was quick to cover up again.
Face-off at the right circle is controlled by Seattle. Up the right wing, Strand clears. This one will sail all the way down. And an easy icing call here with now 16 minutes and 8 seconds to go in period 1. To recap again, the lineup changes here. The Tips getting Riley Sutter back in. Ethan O'Rourke and Ty Westgard were the game time decisions. And based on the looks of things right back at the bench, O'Rourke is the man in, Westgard the man out, and Tyson Toretto replacing Jared Tishka on the Seattle side as they had game time decisions between Holden Katzele and Nikita Malukin. Katzele is the last man out now with 53 seconds on 4-on-4 time. Seattle dumps it back in. Left corner. Pilon trying to force his way up the near side. To center ice, finding Fontaine. Gears into the offensive zone. Drops it for Davis. His shot just tumbling wide. And a rebound for Pilon in front. And put it off the net. Fontaine sends it back. Here's Davis's wrist shot. Knocked down by traffic. Pilon setting a screen. Deflection sent well wide and now taken by Seattle's Ottenbright. He lugs it towards center. Shoots it in toward the Tips net. Save made by Hart. Rebound to the right corner. Turned away. Hamelick sends it to the back for Jake Lee, whose slap shot is knocked down by traffic. Barger hustling over left board. Spins around right corner. Andrusiak onto the back for Reese Harsh. Bumps off Andrusiak. Right corner. Tips and Fairbrother step in. Control as he got knocked down, but he found Wiley right side and got the clear with 15:04 to go. Play back to 5 aside. 0-0 our score. As Bykov from center smacks it back in, turned away by Seattle's Samuel Ho. Steers it back up the left wing and taken away by Bykov. Here he comes wheeling on through center ice. Bykov stick handling, trying to weave around Reese Vitelli. Tips, though, crossed up a little bit, and it's offside now as we have 14:43 to go in period one. And the shots on goal 3-2 in favor of the Thunderbirds.
Bykov with his head up in the neutral zone as he did that stick handling. Very creative, trying to carve his way through, but I think it's very wise for him to have his head up because you can probably guess that some of the Silvertips better players might be marked right now by the Thunderbirds with the way they feel like maybe they were unjustly lost their man already tonight, even though no penalty was called on that hit by Sutter.
Wallace shot one in, delayed offside, so Ottenbright turns it back the other way, and a save made by Carter Hart off his bid from center ice. Tips control, Fasco Rudis right wing from neutral. Shakes off a hit by Ottenbright, and we get a stop of play because of an offside call now with 14:22 to go, but pretty apparent right now things are getting a little more vicious out there, and Fasco Rudis dodging a hit from Seattle's captain.
Yeah, Turner Ottenbright will not back down or shy away from a potential opportunity to get physical, to throw his weight around out there and maybe just given the green light to go ahead and continue on based on the way this game has started tonight.
Tips will go with Girth O'Rourke up front here alongside Bronson Sharp. Andre Valla and Ian Walker back on defense with the defensive pair shuffled just a hair. O'Rourke replaced by Girth at the face-off circle. Tips control, and Valla shoots it in. Around to the right side, O'Rourke a check on Owen Williams. Puck battle into the corner as well. O'Rourke controls, trying to steer one back. It's sent to Ian Walker, whose shot is knocked down by traffic. Rebound, Malukin left boards, got the clear, and we are down to 6 minutes gone by here in period one. Now the Thunderbirds take it away into the zone. Malukin, 55-footer, is a glove, saving a drop by Carter Hart. And Valla up the left wing, steers for Sharp at center. Brink wide pass. A bit soft. This Girth had to hustle in to take it away from Malukin, who was charging back toward the tip zone. And now it's Owen Williams up the right side for Strand, who backpedals all the way into his own zone. Strand's lead toss up the right wing to Barger. Tips line, lays it back in. Offside the call. And we are down now to 13:33 to go in period number one. You'll hear Dan Patrick, Rich Eisen, Doug Gottlieb, the Fish, Jeff Aaron, and Silvertips hockey. What a lineup on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3.
Barger with some words for the linesman there as his deflection that was going to go into the zone and be onside collided with the linesman, but the linesman just saying he had nowhere to go, and that was pretty much the case. They're point blank taking that deflection.
Now a centering toss. Here's Wedman to the net. Save made by Carter Hart. Rebound is jammed loose. A scrum in front. Barger batting away. Davis batting away. Puck still loose and finally controlled by Sean Richards and cleared back down Seattle zone.
Wow, that puck was free for a long time. The officials not blowing the whistle, and Carter Hart making probably undocumented number of saves there in all that traffic.
Shots are now 6-2 in favor of the Thunderbirds as Jake Christensen off the bench shoots it in for the Silvertips. Bykov to the right side, dropping it for Sutter, whose low wrist shot is turned away off the pad by Liam Hughes. Rebound far boards. Barger tried to clear off glass, kept in Christensen to Bykov at the line. Sent cross ice, Wiley steered back up high. Here's Bykov to the right circle, walks in, shoots, and just high over the crossbar. Rolling puck, Bykov is there. Steers it back for Wiley, whose shot is knocked away by a defending Nolan Volkin. Out of play it goes, and we have now 12:28 to go in period one. In case you're just joining us, shots are 6-2 Thunderbirds. Silvertips generating a couple of good looks early on, but Also a hit by Riley Sutter, knocking Donovan Niles out of the game for now. A team that is also down Jared Tishka and Sami Moilanen.
Yeah, that's a big part of the story here early on. That last opportunity there, not going to go down as a shot on goal, but the chance for Patrick Bykov, who got the puck, and nobody seemed to want to stop him. I hope he takes note of that they're expecting distribution. He was given a wide open lane to shoot.
Tips control. Dewar snapshot too wide from the right circle and kept in by Gianni Fairbrother, who's had a pair of assists last 2 games. And now a battle at the left side, taken away by Dewar as he stripped Noah Philp. Dewar lays it, Pilon left corner, forcing his way to the trapezoid. Walks out right circle, hangs on, floats one toward the net, and a save made by Hughes, who hangs on, but that was an intended rebound as Sutter was darting back door, and Hughes gets a whistle here with 12:06 to go in period 1.
Yeah, Sutter was drifting towards a real soft spot over there on the far side of Liam Hughes' net, and that backhand just never quite made it there. Hughes was quick to react to it and might have been a little bit deflected on its way in towards him.
Liam Hughes, 7th-round draft pick of the Edmonton Oil Kings back in 2014. Tips force one toward the net. Hughes makes a save as Riley Sutter had a face-off win. And a whistle here with 12:04 to go in period 1. This is where the Tips also get some value right back at the face-off dot. Missing Riley Sutter was huge. Tips overcame it, but now you have a guy who can be a presence, especially if this game is tight late in situations. Now Dewar a takeaway, left circle, steps in. Low wrist shot is a save made by Hughes. And a rebound steer back by Philp to center ice. No score. Over 8 minutes gone by. Is now Hamelick checked by Riley Sutter at the left circle. And a battle at the boards is Fairbrother. Tries a free one to center ice. Tips force it out. Taken away by Andrusiak. Hands off Hamelick into the zone and fans on his wrist shot. And a rebound clear back out by Fairbrother. Right wing Dewar skates into the offensive zone. Low snapshot, missed the net, and Dewar and Tyson Toretta spin each other right into the net. That comes off the moorings, and we have another stop of play by sheer force with now 11:26 to go in period 1.
Well, Tyson Toretta, a rookie in the league, getting his first playoff experience by getting the start here in tonight's game and trying to deal with Connor Dewar there, who came in. My guess is that Toretta thought that shot on goal, he was of the mindset, well, if there's a rebound, I'm going to make sure that Connor Dewar cannot get it. They just kind of grabbed each other and tangled and went spinning into Hughes' net. Would have been a good idea if there was a rebound opportunity, but Dewar's shot was fired wide and the puck was clear out, coming outside the faceoff circle on the other side.
Connor Dewar, in regular season action, 14 goals in his career against the Seattle Thunderbirds. At a career-high 38 goals this season. Tips move it into the left corner off the face-off win. Fasco Rudis out of the back for Andre Vala, whose point shot just sails wide. Rebound left side. Kaluski got the clear with 11:12 to go here in period 1. Tips regain Vitelli. Streaks down the right wing. Lays one to the circle. Kindop on net. Save made. Fasco Rudis rebound and a save made by Hughes. He gets a whistle. Fasco Rudis, in the meantime, jostling behind the Seattle net with Samuel Ho. And we have 11:03 to go in period 1 with the Silvertips evening things up in the shots on goal department. It's now 6-6.
I mentioned that line in the open about how good Vitelli and Fasco Rudis have been in this series in the last couple games in particular. Don't forget, Bryce Kindop had a goal in the opening game as well, and they combined really nicely there to break into the zone. Soft pass that Kindop got on net. Fasco Rudis followed up. A couple good opportunities there for the Silvertips.
Richards, Fontaine, and Kindop up front. Right circle draw, Tips control, and Davis spins it up high for Richards. Cutting left side, who snapshot got a piece of traffic and sent wide. Fontaine right corner. On the walkout, plucked away by Volkin. Seattle back to center is now Barger, poked away by Andre Vala. And a puck rolling toward the team benches. Richards frees it back up, and the Tips regroup on defense. Davis for Vala. Volleys one back toward the Seattle line. Knocked down by Austin Strand. Lead toss up the right wing. Looking for Barger. Knocked down by Vala. And cleared back high off glass with 10:27 to go. Richards a feed out of the reach of Bykov left wing. Strand feeds Jake Lee. Angles it left boards and shot back in deep Silvertip zone to the glove side of Carter Hart. Seattle is changing. Vala long toss for Richards. Lays it back in. And stolen by Harsh, who finds Ottenbright left side. He now gives it away. Left wing Richards brings it back in to the trailer by Cobb, but out of his reach. And Seattle turns it back on a counterattack. Possibly 3-on-2. Right wing Hamelick, his shot. Pad save, Carter Hart. And a rebound steered away by Patrick Bykov. Hart yet again with a big save. Tips counter. Wiley looking left side. Dewar hauled down but forced one of the net. Save made by Hughes. And a rebound off for Reese Harsh to Hamelick. With 9:39 to go, Tips keep it in deep. As now Pilon leapfrogs over the fallen Ottenbright. Left side, Christensen shot from the board. Save made by Hughes. Pretty nifty play there by the Silvertips. As now Dewar goes after Ottenbright left glass. And now taken away by Harsh of Seattle. Lead toss up the right wing. Skips out the combination of Vulcan and Christensen deep into the Silvertip zone. And back to play is Wyatt Wiley with 9:10 to go in period one. Long lead toss out of the reach of Kindup. Is now Strand deep in the Seattle zone. Lays it up the right side to center. Play by McLean to Kaluski. Swatted back in. Blocker side corner of Carter Hart. Ian Walker and the Tips reset. Lead toss up the right boards. Vasco Rudis towards center. Intercepted. McLean lays it back in. Tips regain. Left side Fairbrother. Lead toss skips off Kindup. Hustling toward the corner. Spins it right side. Vasco Rudis, but checked by Vulcan. And Seattle back on the move. 8:35 to go. Vulcan into the offensive zone left wing. Smacked away by Walker. Puck is cleared. And Strand back now to receive toward his own line. He spins one to the right side. Williams chops it in. Hit the linesman. Williams regains. Low shot. Save made Carter Hart. And a rebound to the backboards with 8:17 to play. Blake Barger frees it back up. Pressured by Fontaine. Lays it behind the net, taken by Barger, swung one toward the front, knocked down by the Tips, and Patrick Bykov checked by Wedman. It's going to be two taken off, one for a penalty, and the officials say one for a dive with 8:07 to go. We'll step aside in the meantime. Silvertips and Thunderbirds tied 0-0. So a plot twist, it favors the Silvertips. Originally, two players whistle for a penalty, but it's just Matthew Wedman. So the Silvertips, Justin, will get their first power play of the game.
Yeah, that's a big call there. It sure looked from both of our perspectives like he had pointed to both guys, but it's at the far end of the ice. It's tough for us to tell.
Tips will take it. They, in the series, are 2 of 14 and win the faceoff. Davis to Pilon. At the left point, wrist shot, save made by Hughes, who came way out of his net to challenge and hangs on now with 1:52 remaining on the man advantage. Tips were 1 of 5 on the man advantage in game 3. And for the playoffs so far, they have 6 different players recording a point.
That shot right initially out of the gates, it was a good one.
Tips control. Pilon to Davis. Top right circle. Low wrist shot. Save. Rebound. Score! Who else? Patrick Bykov. Power play goal with 7:50 to go in period 1. Blocker side on Liam Hughes. And a wide open rebound. Bykov's got 3 on this series. It's 1-0 Silvertips.
Well, I think the Silvertips pretty happy that he was not in the penalty box and out there on the ice for that, because that was a lot like what they were trying to do after the initial face-off win. Get it back to the blue line, shot through traffic, see if there's a rebound opportunity. The first instance, Hughes just didn't allow it. He just gobbled up that first shot. But on this, a little bit more traffic in front. They bang away right in front. It pops out to the side. The blocker side of Hughes. Bykov is there from the angle underneath the left circle, puts it away, and gives the Silvertips the opening goal here in Game 4.
Should also mention that we had a local celebrity on radio stop by, and Dave Softy Muller. You're not leaving, my friend. Right as he entered the booth, Bykov popped in the rebound. There you go. Your mathematics. Tips on top 1-0. They are now 3 of 15 in the series. As they lay it back in the Seattle zone, Philp to center ice, and now spun away by Connor Dewar. Chipped up the right wing, and now Pilon shakes off a hit by Ottenbright, and the Seattle captain wants a little more of a conversation in the middle of play. Ottenbright up the left side. Spun off Hamelick deep in the tip zone. First to touch is Andre Vala. Up the near boards, kept in by Philp, now taken away. Counterattack, possibly 3-on-2. Riley Sutter into the offensive zone. Cross ice, Davis, deflection, score! In front was Connor Dewar. Nearby was Kevin Davis. 7:12 to go in period 1. The Silvertips have opened it up. Davis should get credit for that one on the playoffs. It's his first. It's 2-0 Silvertips.
Well, the Silvertips sensed the little door opening there, I think, as Turner Ottenbright, who was being so physical, wanted to get involved offensively. He came streaking in through the neutral zone, thought he was going to get a little bit of a soft pass there right as he entered the Everett end, but the pass was intercepted and the Tips quickly sprung the other direction. Davis, sensing the opportunity, made it 3-on-2, and with all that traffic coming right at Hughes, his centering pass, shot, whatever it might be, it found its way into the net.
So now for the third time in 4 games of this series, the Tips have a 2-goal lead, and here's the call.
Scored by number 38, Kevin Davis. Assisted by number 14, Riley Sutter. And by number 42, Andre Valla.
Jake Lee, left point, his shot, save, Volkan, rebound, score. Just like that, Seattle gets back into the game. 6:48 left in period 1. Nolan Volkan buries a rebound, blocker side on Carter Hart. It's a 2-1 game.
Now this goal came from something that I think was stressed going into game 3, Mike, and that was the idea that Silvertips needed to block more shots from the blue line. This was harmless enough. It was not an overpowering shot, but it made its way through bodies. Nobody was able to get to it before it got to Carter Hart, and just dealing with it, trying to send it off to his right-hand side. It happened to be right where Volkan was. He picks up the puck, and the two guys that were friends from long ago, Card has to deal with his buddy there scoring a goal on him here in game 4.
So 3 goals combined for these two teams in a minute 2. And the Silvertips lead is chopped down to 2-1 as Samuel Ho lays it behind the Tips net. Back to play is Gianni Fairbrother. Leads up the right side and girth to center ice. Deflected away by Toretta. Forcing his way O'Rourke from the left circle and a backhander save made. Rebound to the right corner. Taken by Owen Williams. Up the left for Ho. Checked by Sharp. Loose puck, Tips keep it in. Girth out toward the left wing. Lays it into the corner as Girth is checked well away from the puck by Owen Williams. Loose puck now left side. Reese Vitelli had a goal in game 1. Spins it toward the backboards and harassing Samuel Ho. There's now Fasco Rudis jumping out. Sends it back off the boards left side for Valla. In deep to the corner, Fasco Rudis onto the back for Valla. Save made. Loose rebound in front. Vitelli fires. And a save made by Liam Hughes. Rebound off the right circle. Tips are coming back with another wave. Right corner is Kindop. Takes it wide. Set one to the back. Valla one-timer. Save made by Hughes. Rebound left corner. Kindop controlling. Low risk shot. Save made. Maluk in the rebound. Cleared to center ice.
Great pressure from the Silvertips. They want to turn around and come right back at him. That was a dynamite shift from the checking line, and then quickly Kindop, Fasco Rudis, and Vitelli followed up with another good one.
Here's now Dewar at the left circle. Moves his way in. Loose puck is knocked away by Ottenbright. As now Sutter jams Noah Philp into the corner. And now nearby is Pilon to control into the scrum. He sends it back. Fairbrother keeps it in. Returns it in the left corner with Pilon battling Ottenbright. And now 4:55 to go here in period 1. Silvertips on top 2-1. Fairbrother lays it for Sutter behind the Seattle net. Hangs on. Looked to center. Was knocked down by Philp. And now Sutter checked down to the ice. Here's Pilon, base right circle. Spins off of Ottenbright. Protects the puck. Dropping for Wiley. Cruising in. Low risk shot save made by Hughes. Second chance. And Wiley sent one toward the net. And Hughes just cut the post off in time. And gets a cover up here as we have 4:33 to go. And the Tips on top 2-1. Patrick Bykoff, third of the playoffs at 12:10 from Dewar and Davis. Then Davis himself, first of this series from Sutter and Valla at 12:48. And Nolan Volkan is second from Jake Lee at 13:12.
A flurry of goals there, 2 for Everett, 1 for Seattle, and then following up with a couple of really solid shifts there in the Seattle end after the T-Birds got back within 1.
Tips control. Richards' wrist shot knocked down. Wiley control. Steps in. And his shot knocked down by Nolan Volkan. To center ice, Kaluski. Hustling up the right wing. And now checks Fairbrother into the corner. As Wiley stepping in, trying to free it with 4:15 to go here in period 1. Tips have now spread the shots out for the advantage in their favor at 17-9. They got 2 quick ones. Seattle coming back next shift, and the Tips lead maintained at 2-1. Puck is cleared now by the Silvertips. Wyatt Wiley to center ice. Sailed back in by Jake Lee. No icing call as he was around center red and picked up by Wiley behind Carter Hart. 3:48 to go. Wiley's lead pass up the right wing. Vitelli racing into the offensive zone. Pulls up side of the right circle. Knocked away by Strand. Seattle forcing it back out. Tips reset with Jay Christensen now dumping it back in from the red line. Bucket behind the Seattle net, and Hughes flips one to the far side. Barger tried to clear. Too messy. Kindop kept it in. To the left corner, Fasco Rudis. Checked by Strand. Kindop picks up right corner. Low to high pass to Walker at the line. His wrist shot skips off of traffic. And a rebound to the far boards. Blake Barger hoists it back to center with 3:10 to go in period one.
Some of the most aggressive forechecking I've seen from Everett this entire series. They are really disrupting the Thunderbirds and what they want to do in their own end and moving out through the neutral zone.
Barger angling one off glass. Got the clear right side. Tips regain as Pilon had the puck for a moment, but spun away by Reese Harsh, and it's chipped it back in as Barger chasing toward the left side, drawing contact with Kevin Davis. Tips clear back toward the Seattle line. Ottenbright toward the right wing, knocked away by Vala. Tips line. Andrusiak steps up, flips it in. Glove side corner of Carter Hart as we now have 2.5 to go in period one. And the Silvertips on top of Seattle 2-1. This is game four. Tips of the first two goals of this game from Bykov and Davis. Seattle coming back. Very next shift, Nolan Volkin. Three teams with goals a minute, two apart. To the right corner, Philp sends it back to the line. A shot by Harsh, save made by Hart. And a rebound knocked away out of traffic by Andre Vala. Puck still kept in by Seattle. A pass toward the right circle, turned away by the Tips, and Bykov got the clear. Knocked down by Harsh to the Seattle line. Strand's cross ice pass. Right wing Andrusiak picks up. Centering toss for Volkin and a backhander. Miss the net. And now play by Andrusiak right side. They tap it back as Strand rides the line. Toward the open right circle. Volkin steps in, shoots, save made. Strand rebound. What a save by Carter Hart. And the Tips control and skate it back out. Bykov to Richards, Seattle zone. Tapped away by Volkin. Seattle turns it back up ice. Right wing Wedman into the offensive zone. Now it gets on by Fairbrother. Wedman shot, save made by Hart. Penalty coming up against the Silvertips as Hughes off now to the bench for the sixth attacker. McLean left circle. Forced toward the corner. Sent one to the net. Up the middle it goes. Lee fires. Blocked by traffic. Tips are scrambling. It's sent back to the line. Left side for Lee. Cross ice for McLean. To the circle for Strand. Sent to the back for Lee. Left side for Ho. One-timer blocked and touched up by Richards as we have 59.9 to go. And it will be a Seattle power play for the first time this evening as passed up Donovan Niles returns to the ice.
Well, that's a huge lift for the Thunderbirds there to see Niles come on back, getting a pat from Turner Ottenbright on the head. And the first time there late in this period where the Thunderbirds were able to generate some danger in the Silvertips zone as Wedman was really a handful over there on the far side, and Fairbrother couldn't quite figure out what to do with him. I think he had a hold of him is going to be the call here, I believe. But either way it goes down, Silvertips a man down here to close out the first period.
Seattle went 1 of 4 in the power play in game 3 and are 3 of 9 as well in the series. So big penalty kill for the Silvertips here with 59.9 to go and trying to maintain their lead heading into the dressing room. And Gianni Fairbrother off to serve the 2 minutes. Riley Sutter and Niles, the face-off circle, right side. Sutter wins it, but a puck race here as now Dewar jumps in. Frees it up for Sutter, and this one spun all the way back down.
This would be a pretty big close to the period if the Silvertips could find that penalty kill spark that they had throughout most of the regular season.
Ottenbright to Niles, right side, laid back, and Ottenbright misplayed the puck. Possible shorthanded breakaway. Connor Dewar breaks on net, hauled down from behind. It will be a penalty shot. Connor Dewar awarded a penalty shot on a shorthanded opportunity with 33.2 to go in period 1.
What a huge opportunity there as puck coming out to Ottenbright at the far side point. Misplayed it badly, and then he looked like he wanted to maybe hold up Dewar, but didn't take the penalty. Wedman had no problem swinging his stick and tackling Dewar to the ice as he broke in on Hughes.
Dewar, a 38-goal scorer, 14 goals, 30 games regular season against Seattle. Penalty shot first period, down the middle, Dewar shoots, score! Connor Dewar snaps it home with 33.2 to go in period one. And the Silvertips lead the Seattle Thunderbirds 3-1 in game four.
What a huge moment late in this first period. And Connor Dewar, you take into account maybe some tired legs from a guy that's worked hard here this entire first period, hauled down to the ice and then asked to go out there and try and put some sort of move on. Didn't have a lot of speed, didn't need it, just worked his way in and then snapped the wrister right through Hughes. Beat him cleanly, and a big lift to the Silvertips here late.
It is his first goal of the series. That's got to feel good for the Pit Bull as Andrusiak lays it back in, and you betcha that took some wind out of Seattle's sails. Offside the call with 19 seconds left against the Thunderbirds, with the Silvertips on top 3-1.
Well, yeah, they had the last goal. They had the momentum. They're on the power play, and then they see their overage, one of their associate captains, Donovan Niles, come back through the boards, come back on the ice. Huge lift for the Thunderbirds, but Connor Dewar put it all to bed there with that penalty shot.
Andrusiak breakaway pass out of the reach of Ho as Hart plays a trapezoid and smacked toward the far glass, kept in. Reese Hart tees one up. Hart fumbles a rebound, but no problem here. Horn also sounds off, and we have hit the end of one period of play.
Opened up the second period with a power play opportunity. Thought maybe that would be used to try to cut into the advantage. Silvertips killed it off. See if they can do more of the same here to start the second in game four.
Second period is underway with the Silvertips attacking right to left across your dial and the Thunderbirds flipping it in. Again, still on their first man advantage that Connor Dewar scored that penalty shot goal on. Matthew Wedman right corner to the back for Strand. Top left circle of feet for Niles. Spun to the blue line. Strand low wrist shot. Glove save by Carter Hart right through traffic. Hart hangs on, and we are now 26 seconds down here in the second period. And the Tips maintaining their 3-1 advantage. We mentioned that Dewar scored the first Tips penalty shot goal in playoff franchise history. That was also the first opportunity on a penalty shot in franchise playoff history, but also the Tips involved in a penalty shot on the opposite side exactly 7 years ago to this day. Luke Seaman stopping Sven Berchi of the Portland Winterhawks back on March 30th of 2011.
Wow, impressive. Sven Berchi could play a little bit, huh?
And yeah.
Great job here off the faceoff. Vala getting in the way, blocking a shot, something we noted the Silvertips need to do to be successful in the penalty kill.
Thunderbirds and Ottenbright through center, and their captain dumps it in behind the net. And now being worked on by Kevin Davis. Bykov jumping in, now battling Matthew Wedman as it's squeezed toward the right circle. Fontaine is there. Smack one to center and off of Donovan Niles off a high stick. As this one sent back down in the Thunderbird zone to draw the whistle. And now the Tips are back to 5 skaters with now 18:59 to go in period 2.
Wow, that's convenient for the Silvertips. Great start to this period. Getting the job done on the penalty kill and now getting the face-off back in the Seattle end right as the penalty expired to the second. Niles having a bit of a rough night. He was down earlier, deflected that one with a high stick right off his noggin back into his own zone.
Tips have outscored Seattle 6-2 in the second period of this playoff series so far. Again, the Tips trying to extend their lead. Currently up 2-1 in Game 5, all set to go tomorrow night in downtown Everett. That tells you how big this one is and potentially how big tomorrow night is. Left wing, Riley Sutter. Snap shot is a kick save made by Hughes. Rebound off the right boards and skated by Philp back to center. On a chip and chase, Philp enters the zone on left wing and now poked away by Wiley. Puck behind the net. Philp centering toss knocked away by Sutter. As Z flipped one toward the right side. Pilon spins off of Hamelick. Kept in by Seattle. Shot wide left point by Jake Lee. Wiley picks up for the Silvertips, about roughly 10 feet away from a stick that is lodged in the glass. Meanwhile, back up ice for the Silvertips. Dewar left boards and sends it in deep Seattle zone out of the reach of Pilon, who's buried by Jake Lee. 18:05 to go here in the second period. Pilon trying to dig it out. Vitelli is nearby. Dewar and Ottenbright also as this one flipped high in the air, and back to center ice comes Seattle. Kaluski gives it away to Ian Walker. Kaluski will chip it back in. Fairbrother to the near corner. Spun it underneath the stick that is still stuck in the glass. And this one now chipped to center ice. Seattle takes it away. Right wing Samuel Ho skates it in. Sent one behind the net, under the stick. Can't say that call too often here, as now Fairbrother dodges that stick up the left side. Long toss ahead off of Telly, so that negates icing. And the goaltender Hughes behind his Seattle net. Play to the near side. Austin Strand clears one ahead of neutral. Galuski dumps it back in. Played by the Tips and Davis. Up the right side. Vitelli outboards and turned away by Seattle's Niles. 17:07 to go here in the second. Williams bumps it in. Hustling. Left circle is Hamelick. Now trying to scoot away from Andre Vala. Walks out of the circle. Knocked away by Girth. Couldn't clear. Niles dropping one to the left point. Shot by Williams. Up high. Save made by Carter Hart. And falls on the puck for a whistle here with 16:53 to go in period 2. And finally Austin Strand back to extract the stick out of the glass there.
Yeah, it was Zach Andrusiak's stick, and it came at a time when actually there was a bad clear for the Silvertips, and if Andrusiak might have had his stick, it might have been an opportunity, but he had to make his way back to the bench. I know there's a lot of action there, Mike, but I couldn't take my eyes off the stick. It was like a really twisted game of limbo that was being played.
Neither could I, and I think for a lot of viewers on WHL Live, neither could they as well.
All I could look at was that stick. Just seemed really dangerous back there.
Bykov controls, sends it down, no icing call. And played by Austin Strand behind the Seattle net, laid it up the right side. To center ice, Andrusiak. The relay to Niles, a chip and chase Silvertip zone. Checked by Davis, right corner. Andrusiak sent one to the blue line. Strand up center point, wrist shot too high. Rebound to the right side. Bykov trying to chip ahead for Davis, cutting to center ice, but he overskated. Richards is there, and now feeds Fontaine up the right wing. Fontaine hustling into the offensive zone. Weaves his way to the left circle, driving wide, and his shot, he scores! Matt Fontaine piling on with 16:15 to go in period 2. It caught a deflection along the way, and it looked like Sean Richards, the last to touch it. As Fontaine cut toward the left side, Richards gets the tip in. It is his first of this series, and the Silvertips on top, 4-1.
Now positioned in a great spot with Sean Richards, and it was all Fontaine through the neutral zone, carrying the puck from his own blue line, weaving through, around, and firing a shot towards Liam Hughes' net. Liam Hughes, on a fairly fresh sheet of ice, had come way, way out of his blue paint to try and challenge Fontaine, and so when the puck went by him, it was not on target to go in, but Richards was in a great position, caromed off him and into Hughes' net.
Tips coming back looking for more as now Peel on right side. Lays it back in Seattle zone to the glove side corner of Hughes. And sent to the back now, a shot by Sutter wide. And play by Christensen left boards. Around toward the right side. Wiley kept it in. Low shot, save made Hughes, deflecting in behind the net. Jumping in now is Pelon, but off his stick, it's carried back to center ice now by Noah Philp. For Seattle, down the right wing, Philp's shot won't count, it's offside, and now everyone trying to stir the pot. Tempers begin to flare with 15:41 to go. Here in period 2, Richards scores at 3:45, his first on the series, and Matt Fontaine with a helper to make it a 4-1 Silvertips advantage, and now you're getting into a moment of this game where Seattle is becoming to terms now with coming out the hinges, Justin.
Well, they're in a tough spot because they're up against one of the best goaltenders in junior hockey in the world, and they're down 3 goals here, down a game in the series too, and Noah Philp fires the puck in after the whistle had gone for offsides. That is what really got the Silvertips agitated. It's basically a well-known no-no that you do not fire the puck on net after a whistle. Sometimes you can make the case that you didn't hear it, but there's not exactly a ton of electricity in Showware right now with their home team down 3 goals. And as he came in offsides, I could hear the whistle pretty clearly. I have headphones on. You know, it was it's a tactic I suppose he could use to try and rile up the Silvertips. He got a little bit of that, but it's negated because he goes to the penalty box himself.
Tips on a 4-goal offensive sprint to the back. Here's Kevin Davis dangling in, drives the net, and forced to roll one on as he was checked by Wedman and a save made by Hughes. And he hangs on now as played a 4-on-4 now with 1 minute and 43 seconds to go on matching minors between Dewar and Philp.
And I really like that opportunity there for Davis. He got the pass coming in, had it locked and loaded as though he was going to fire, and tried to toe drag towards the center of the ice between the top of the circles. Wedman, last-ditch effort, got a stick out there, and it was a strong stick because he prevented Davis from really getting any good lumber on that shot that kind of eventually trickled its way towards Liam Hughes.
Gianni Fairbrother also gets the assist on that Richards goal, so the Young Tips blue liner has got assists now in 3 consecutive playoff games. Do not underestimate his value in a series like this. The Tips have certainly embraced physicality. Carter Hart now fumbles the puck in front. Save is made. Rebound poked away out of the crease by Bryce Kindop. Seattle spins it behind Carter Hart to the trapezoid where Davis was there up for Vala. Breakaway pass out of the reach of Kindop. Now catches up right side but over skates. And now picked up by Vitelli to the trapezoid. Right corner. He escapes harsh as Vitelli spins off his backhand. Toward the circle. Bykov now jumping in. Low to high pass. At the blue line, Wiley cross ice. Fairbrother left side shot it wide. And a rebound off right boards for Wiley. 14:28 to go. Here in the second. Silvertips on top of Seattle 4-1. Here in game 4. Nolan Volkin for the Thunderbirds. Counterattack, low risk shot left wing. Kick save by Hart and heavy check by Wiley, finishing Volkin against the back glass. Fontaine now left side. Spins away off of Volkin. Kept in Strand, angles his way. Left circle, poked away by Fairbrother. Tips break to center. As he pokes ahead for Fontaine. And knocked away by Andrusiak as now Bykov couldn't handle. And back comes Seattle racing. Right wing Niles into the offensive zone. Cross ice to Andrusiak and lays it wide of the target. Loose puck off the right boards. Niles to the back. Shot by Ottenbright. Knocked away by a defending Wyatt Wiley. Out of play it goes with both Dewar and Philp out of the box in 3 seconds. And the Silvertips still on top 4-1.
Yeah, good play here, 4-on-4 for the Silvertips. You know, you see some of the differences in these two teams and why the Silvertips can generate a few more chances. The Tips have been so clean breaking into the Seattle end. Good puck movement, good passing right on mark, and good receiving of those passes. A couple of back-to-back instances, Thunderbirds had maybe some chances for 3-on-2, 4-on-3, and they just were unable to deliver or receive a good pass crossing the blue line in the Everett zone.
Face-off was to the right of Carter Hart. Tips eventually work it out of the scrum, but trying to get this one cleared up the boards. As Ho checks Christensen. Tips reset it in deep with Ian Walker around to the near side. And kept in Strand, right circle, feed Hamelick. Walks out, shoots, save made by Hart. Rebound to the slot is spun away by Walker. Tips control, and now Walker clears up the left boards and along for Pilon. A man to beat, it's Ottenbright. Pilon left circle, protects the puck. Now spins toward his backhand, moves his way toward the net. And now Pilon still hangs on left corner. Pilon toward the slot, knocked away by Ho. Dewar left boards, off his backhand, forcing his way toward the slot. Puck is still loose, picked up by Pilon, and eventually carried back out by Seattle. So no shot on goal, but tremendous effort by the Silvertips to burn more time off that clock in a puck possession game that was heavily slanted toward Pilon and Dewar, and now Seattle gets an icing call here, and a face-off will come back nearby Liam Hughes.
Yep, Pilon just didn't quite have the angle to try and take on Ottenbright and take it to the net. Ottenbright is not really somebody that you're going to be able to muscle your way through. As strong as Pilon is on puck and skating with it, that's just too tall of a task. So he wheels around with it, keeps good control, keeps it away from the Thunderbirds, and you said it, Mike, puck control in the Seattle end is great time.
Off the draw, left side, O'Rourke, and his shot knocked down as O'Rourke controls left circle again. Deflecting one toward the slot, taken away, Kaluski skates it back out. A counterattack challenging Andre Vala. Good support by O'Rourke to knock it away right corner. 12:27 to go. Barger hustling behind the net. Scoots it back to the blue line. Owen Williams tees one up, save made by Carter Hart. Rebound in front. And a backhander sent wide. And a penalty coming up as Jackson Kaluski was leveled nearby the blue paint. And it's going to be an elbowing call here with 12:16 to go. And again recovering out, but also requiring the look here of trainer Phil Varney here. It's going to be a penalty on Bronson Sharp, so the Silvertips penalty kill trying to keep it at a 3-goal pace.
Yeah, Varney out to look at him in just about that time. it was good to see that Jackson Kaluski was able to get up and get to his feet and head back. Sharp just trying to do his best in front of the net there as the opportunity, the shot came through, rebound spat out towards the right circle, and dealing with it, the Silvertips were trying their best, but you want to negate any chance that you have for Seattle, but at the same time, you also don't want to draw a penalty.
Second power play for Seattle of this game. Tips scoring a shorthanded goal on the first opportunity. Their lead at 4-1 as now Donovan Niles sets up right circle for Seattle. Back to the point. Ottenbright tees one up. Save made by Hart. Rebound. There is none. And Carter Hart covers up here with 1:45 to go on the Bronson Sharp minor.
You could see just waiting there. Nolan Volkin wanted to take a swipe if there was going to be a rebound. That's how he got the first goal for the Thunderbirds on a rebound opportunity back in the first period. But Carter Hart saw it the whole way and was able to control it the whole way.
Tips scoring their second shorthanded goal of this series. Bykov had one back in game one. Seattle controls right circle. Niles feeding it down low. Wedman spins one toward the net. Save made. Seattle jams for the rebound, but Carter Hart stands his ground and covers up. And he gets the whistle here with 11:50 to go in the second period. So it's getting down to desperation time already as we have just passed the halfway point of this second period in a game where the Silvertips have viciously seized control. It is everybody sent in for a loose puck here, but Hart's now turned away. 19 of 20, Justin.
Well, and we mentioned at the start of this series that Seattle is a bigger team, bigger in size, and trying to use some of that girth and some of that muscle to push the puck over and maybe push Carter Hart into his own net as well. They succeeded in pushing Hart back a little bit, but they could not find a way to get the puck in his net.
Tips control, face-off right circle, and Davis spins one to center. And Austin Strand just knocking one away from an oncoming Bykov or LC. Could have been away for a shorthanded chance. Ottenbright to the red line. Lays it right wing for Wedman. Checked by Bykov is now Wiley. Hammers Ottenbright right corner, and a penalty coming up on the Silvertips. Niles controls. Tips get the touch up now. As with 11:27, actually, it's going to be a penalty on Matthew Wedman. Wiley came in as part of a collision, but Wedman is going to be the one going off here, so it's going to be a 4-on-4 now for a minute 12.
Ottenbright pursuing the puck there in the corner, him and Wiley getting tangled up, and Ottenbright going to the ice. Wedman came in, did not like that play from the Silvertips young defenseman, and he came in and gave him the rough stuff afterwards, and that's what drew the attention of the officials, not the initial.
That's a good look there, Justin, because that puck was already cross ice after Wiley and Ottenbright had their collision and then the retaliation shot. So pretty symbolic here of how much Seattle has become a little bit unglued here in this series, and it's 4-on-4 now for the Silvertips for a minute 8. Tips have Pilon out there with Dewar, Christensen, and Davis. It's 2 for roughing here on Matthew Wedman with 11:09 to go in the second period. Tips now make a brief change and get Kindop out on the ice. For Seattle, Volkin left wing. Skates into the offensive zone. No chance. Broken up by Jay Christensen in front of him. Turns one ahead, right wing for Connor Dewar. He'll chip and chase in Seattle zone. Now challenging Harsh. A puck into the right corner. Dewar now against the boards. Taps it. Kindop to the back. Andre Vala is open. Tees one up. And a glove save by Liam Hughes, who hangs on. 27 seconds on 4-on-4 time. And 10:43 remaining here in the second. And the Silvertips in command here in Game 4, up 4-1.
Yeah, use this time right now to your advantage. They're in control of this game. No need to take any unnecessary risk. Disciplined hockey. The intensity still needs to stay high. You can't put it into cruise control, but just be very disciplined in what you're doing out there.
Tips win the face-off as Kindop, right corner, worked on by Williams, and spins one up high for Vala. Returned to the backboards and knocked away by Strand of Seattle. With 10.5 to go here in the second period. Strand is center. A toss up the right wing is broken up by Sutter, and that ricochets into the seats here at Shower Center. As we have now 10 seconds until the Silvertips will get a brief 5-on-4 chance. Already up 4-1.
A little bit of a round of applause for that fan collecting that souvenir, as you have to be alive when you have those type of seats. A puck deflected by a good active Silvertips stick in the neutral zone, disrupting the Thunderbirds' opportunity to get a little bit of steam trying to come into the Everett zone on the rush.
Face-off is right back at center ice, and Bykov will drop for Fontaine out there with Davis and Pilon, so the Tips already getting the power play set up. Bronson Sharp out of the box, makes a beeline for the bench, and Connor Dewar jumps on, and the Tips can now break up ice. Kevin Davis, lead toss Pilon, swings at left wing Bykov. Seattle zone dropping back Fontaine, cross ice Davis, back left point, Fontaine to the circle. Bykov controlling, hangs on to the center point for Davis. Fakes a shot, gives up. Bykov working top left circle. To the back for Davis. Spun right side. Pilon fans on his chance. And a puck loose. Right boards and clear back out to center by Jake Lee.
Now Kevin Davis, who doesn't normally retreat, sensing with a 3-goal lead, why push it at the blue line? If he would have stood his ground, I think he would have been able to keep it in.
Davis ahead for Fontaine. Right wing cruising in. Dropped it for Dewar. Protects against Barger. And now pinned against the boards. Puck free to Pilon. Play to 5 aside. Is now Pilon to the net. And just sent that one wide. Bykov couldn't control it, sent ahead by Ho to center and out of the reach of Wedman. Tips and Wiley turn it ahead, right wing Pilon and across the line. Nearby is Bykov to send one to the corner and taken away by Ottenbright of the Thunderbirds. 9:05 to go here in the second of Game 4. Tips on top 4-1. Loose puck for Fasco Rudis. Into the zone, left wing feed. Richards dropping back for Fairbrother, and a save made by Hughes. And he hangs on and gets a whistle. We'll step aside. 8:55 left here in the second of Game 4. Tips up 4-1 on the Seattle Thunderbirds here in Game 4. More than half of the second period gone by as the Tips go back to work in the offensive zone with Sutter, Kindop, and Fasco Rudis up front. Kindop spins it to the right boards. Wyatt Wiley tees one up and blocked by Tyson Toretta. Puck sail cross ice by Fasco Rudis. Seattle and Mike McLean turn it away. To center ice, Fairbrother. And back along to Fasco Rudis. Chipped aside by McLean, who dumps it back in now Silvertip zone. Left side corner of Carter Hart. And now Fairbrother up the right side for Wiley. Lead toss skipped off Sean Richards, and Seattle turns it back in. 8:10 to go here in the second period. Puck in behind the Silvertip net. Played by Fairbrother on a lead pass up the left wing to Richards. With speed, enters the offensive zone and pulls up into the corner. Up against Austin Strand and sends it cross ice. Open is Ian Walker, whose wrist shot is wide. Rebound kept in by Vala. Bumping one toward the front, knocked down. Loose puck in front. Fontaine with Hughes scrambling, and Fontaine retreats into the corner. A pass in behind, and Bykov spins it right corner for Richards. Leaving it to Bykov with 7:38 to go. And now Fontaine to Richards, who takes it wide, protects the puck, and walks out left circle. Richards now to a cutting Andre Vala, driving wide, and a centering attempt tapped off a Bykov stick. Bykov left circle gets it back. Spins it down the boards, and a puck possession clinic on this shift for the Silvertips. Richards behind the net. Now circling toward the right. Now to the blue line, angles it behind the net. Played by Bykov. Dodges one hit by Strand. Now tied up by Lee in the corner as Richards jumping in and trying to free it here with 7 minutes left here in the second period. Tips have the cowbells out. Seattle with the foldable bang banners. And now the officials stop play as the crowd here amplifying the volume a touch. And we have 6:54 to go here in the second period, and the Silvertips maintaining a 4-1 advantage. The Tips and B2B partners including Everett Youth Hockey, Just Us Cafe, S&S Roofing, Tri-County Septic, and Zach's Smoke and Beverages. See their offers and sign up your business at everettsilvertips.com/B2B.
Oh, what a great shift by that top line there. Really working hard. Bykov at the very end of it, his line mates had gone off, and he just pinned the puck there in the corner, and I think just flat out exhaustion at the end of his shift, kind of decided, enough's enough.
Tips control. O'Rourke shoots and scores! Ethan O'Rourke off the face-off win. Firing one from between the circles. It beat Liam Hughes' blocker's side with 6:52 to go in the second period. The boys in green continue to roll as O'Rourke picks up his first of the series. It's 5-1 Silvertips.
Right off the face-off, you know, Ethan O'Rourke, we've seen some different things from him throughout this season since he was acquired. He's a big frame. He's been put out there on the checking line, but every now and then he has shown an ability to whistle a good wrist shot in there, and straight off the face-off, he gets it and room to shoot, and he does just that, whistling it right by Liam Hughes.
Scoring a goal as well at the right time with family concern. Dad Steve O'Rourke is in the house. Here comes Riley Sutter. Burst of speed into the zone. Forehand shoots. Save made by Hughes. Rebound off the pads and taken behind the net. Pilon walks out left circle, forcing one to the front. Save made. Rebound taken by Connor Dewar. And will feed the blue line for Christensen. Left circle for Dewar with 6:24 to go. The Tips right now is steamrolling the Thunderbirds 5-1 in Game 4. Looking to go up 3-1 in the series. Puck forced to center. Tips drop back, reset, and Christensen spins it left side all the way back behind the Seattle net. A change up here brings out Reese Vitelli, Bryce Kindop, and Pilon to the bench in place of Fasco Rudis. Left wing Vulcan, a shot blocked by Wiley. Kept in, Wedman gives it away down low on the Tips. Back on the move. As Wiley a feed right side. Fasco Rudis works it in deep. Into the corner for Kindop. Sent one to the back and a shot by Wiley. Knocked down by traffic. Noah Philp had that block and got the puck cleared. Fasco Rudis takes it away. Racing back in right side. Centering pass and just shot wide by O'Rourke bidding for his second. That was Bryce Kindop, bigger pardon. Left side Fairbrother from the blue line. And his shot, a glove save made by Hughes. As he hangs on now with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second period. Boy, had the Silvertips open the levee. 5-1 lead here in Kent in Game 4.
Yeah, and O'Rourke kind of symbolic, somebody you do not think of as getting involved in the goal scoring, making it happen to add on to this lead. And, you know, getting back to Gianni Fairbrother, whose last shot there was saved by Hughes, he has such a terrific shot. We were starting to see it. We went to the media timeout, and right before, Fairbrother just had a rocket that was saved by Hughes only because of positioning. He never saw it.
Spencer Girth has the only assist on the goal by O'Rourke. As Seattle shoots it in. Save made by Carter Hart. And clear back to center now with 5:14 to go. Jake Lee dumps it back in. Glove side of Hart. Played by Fairbrother around to the far boards. And now Bykov will flip ahead. Caught by Niles at the blue line. Sets up Kaluski from the right. His shot wide. And a rebound to the far boards. To the back for Jake Lee. Shot knocked down by Fairbrother. Kaluski digging in. Spun off by Fairbrother. Sent one to the blue line. Taken by Strand with hesitation. Challenged by Richards. He sets up Niles. Curls back toward the line. Bumps it just wide of the Silvertip net. And controlled now by Sean Richards, left corner. With 4:35 to go here in the second. Tips in command 5-1 on the Thunderbirds. As they break through center, Fontaine to the right wing. Bykov, wrist shot. Sizzles wide and taken left boards by Andre Valla, who tees it up and blocked by traffic. Samuel Ho clears. Back toward the Tips line where it's reset by Valla. Off to the right for Ian Walker, who lost his edge. Tips will force it ahead. As now O'Rourke will send it back in and taken away. It's Ottenbright for Strand. 4 minutes and 4 seconds left here in the second. Regaining his girth at center, who will drop safely for Andre Valla back in the Silvertip zone. Long toss up the right wing. Deflected off O'Rourke, but from behind center red, it goes for icing. And we add 3:53 to go here in period 2. Lazy Boy Brewing in downtown Everett is proud to recognize local active and retired military personnel at every Friday and Saturday Tips home game. Nominate your military honoree of the night at EverettSilvertips.com.
Something that both teams do really well here is honor a military personnel with the Silvertips, like you just said. Thunderbirds actually using this time to do the same thing here in their arena. I think both teams deserve a lot of kudos for their recognition and bringing attention to those who have served in this local community. And back to the hockey, Silvertips were very, very poised there. Really nice job moving the puck around, not taking any chances, and keeping the Thunderbirds really from any chances of their own in the Everett end.
Pilon won a battle right board, sends it down, not enough for icing. Taken by Vulcan of Seattle, who will drop now for Tyson Toretta. Stretch pass out of the reach of Wedman. It sails the length. Icing call, Seattle. This one's coming back with 3:34 to go here in period number 2. We have more to come here for the second intermission, so stay tuned. Justin has the out-of-town scoreboard. We have your highlights and numbers as well. Also, we get to your questions. Drop those right now on the Tips app for Tips Talk coming up. Have a promo code for you along with your answers as well for the second intermission activities. 3:28 to go here in the second period. Tips on top of the Thunderbirds, 5-1. Andre Valla scoots it in left side. Kindop toward the corner, spun around by Toretta, who's hit by Fasco Rudis. As now Kindop gets back up, recovers left circle, and spins off of Williams. Handing off for Fasco Rudis. He cycles for Vitelli, spins out the backhand against Vulcan. To the corner, Vitelli. Turns on his forehand against Toretta. Laid it behind the net, knocked away by Vulcan of Seattle. To the far boards, McLean got the clear. But now 2:54 to go in the second period. Seattle lays it back in. Glove side corner of Carter Hart. Tips are cruising up 5-1 here in game 4. As it's shot back in now by Jake Lee of Seattle. Left boards, Davis clears it. Ahead for Fontaine. Spun on the blue line, too far ahead of Bykov. Seattle back to center ice. Samuel Ho picks up. Skates into the offensive zone and tried to split the D, but eventually knocked away by Christensen. Puck into the trapezoid as Ho controls. Left corner, Kaluski. Low to high pass for Lee. To the right side, Harsh tees one up. Save made. Rebound scooped up by Carter Hart. And he hangs on with 2:14 to go here in period 2.
Now, this has been a really solid period, obviously, and the Silvertips have put themselves, needless to say, in a great position. But still need to make sure you close out these periods strong because there is still a full 20 minutes to go. And while 5-1 feels real good, you know, if you allow the Thunderbirds back in this a late goal in the period, well, then maybe they feel like they have life down 3 goals. So have to continue in your own zone to get out and challenge those shooters for the blue line. Silvertips, that last shift, maybe a little bit lax in getting out there and trying to get right in. Reese Harsh-Grill, he fired that one on Hart's net pretty easily.
Yeah, nothing wrong with how the Tips have played in the last 10 minutes here, but it's been safe and smart with the puck, but not so much going into a shell. From the line, Hamelick. A shot knocked down by Pilon, clears off glass. All the way back toward the Seattle line with now 1:58 to go. Second period, Tips on top 5-1. Largest lead of the series. As Dewar, who scored on a penalty shot, turns it away. Left corner. Sharp angle bid is knocked down by Strand. Andrusiak now takes it back. Leads one to center. Left wing, Hamelick, a chip and chase. Wyatt Wiley sizes him up. Play by Fairbrother. Tips take it back. As now Wiley ahead for Dewar and spun back down toward the Seattle net. Hughes turns it aside to Ottenbright. Tips changing up briefly with 1:27 to go. Left wing Niles spins across ice. Right corner Vulcan checked by Fairbrother. Jumping in now Andrusiak. Set one up high. Waiting for it, Kindop. Tips will skate back onto center. Right wing Wiley and across the line. Wrist shot, glove save by Hughes. And he hangs on now with 1:10 to go here in period 2.
Well, we've seen Wyatt Wiley likes to get out and stretch those legs whenever he's given the opportunity, and he came up from below the faceoff circle in his own zone as the puck came out towards the blue line. Just kind of sensing that he had a ton of momentum, the puck was left there for him, and he took it all the way from his own blue line through center, past the Thunderbirds defense, and got off a good wrist shot, high glove side. Credit Hughes for making a good save.
Over 15 NHL scouts in this game, and Wyatt Wiley playing good hockey at the right time. Andre Valla, left point, a shot, ricochets wide. That almost went in the upper right corner. Down to a minute left. Tips up 5-1 in the second. Matt Fontaine spins it toward the corner. Turned away by Wedman of Seattle. And airmails this one well over the glass. We await the call with 48.9 to go. And it looks like that one caught a deflection. No, maybe not, actually. This is going to be delay of game. And coming up on Seattle as Wedman will take a seat.
Yeah, back in his own corner, kind of ran out of options what to do. Kindop getting good pressure. Fontaine marking the man up along the face, just outside the face-off circle there, the hash mark, and nowhere to go with it but up and out of play. Leads to another power play opportunity here for Everett.
Tips are 1 of 2 tonight. 5 goals they have pumped on Liam Hughes so far. Power play underway. Puck cleared back down by Andrusiak. Toward the blocker side corner of Hart, who has to let it go now for Kevin Davis. 33 seconds left as he tosses up the right side, and Dewar funnels it in deep Seattle zone. Pilon off the backboards. Sent one toward the blue line. Taken by Davis. Cross ice to Fontaine. Lays one to Bykov at the half boards. Sent one back up ice. Center point Davis. Spins it Bykov left side. Snapshot, shoulder save made by Hughes. Rebound to the right corner and Pilon low to high for Davis. Off left point Bykov to the box Pilon. Lays it in front. Fontaine, save made. Rebound post to post feed and just out of the reach of Bykov. As that will drain the clock and tempers again begin to flare in the corner. But all the Silvertips want to do is just skate away. Holding all the cards this evening, a 5-1 lead. They have dumped on Kent Washington here through 2 periods of Game 4, with Game 5 looming tomorrow night in downtown Everett. TT 3/30. And again, TT 3/30. We're underway. Tips going left to right across your dial. On a power play still with 1:03 to go on it. And they have Davis operating with Fontaine, Pilon, Bykov, and Connor Dewar. He drops it back right side. Fontaine cruising in, and his wrist shot knocked away by traffic and smacked out of the air and back down the ice by Zach Andrusiak. Mike Benton with you along with Justin Morrison, Brandon Hamilton. Back in our downtown Everett studios with the Silvertips, delivering a puck back in right side Seattle zone. And Dewar mishandling back at the point, and will lay it back into zone exchanging with Kevin Davis. 28 seconds on power play time. Dewar ahead left wing for Bykov. Cross ice for Pilon, tapped in front, knocked away. Puck is loose, and Dewar in there with Jake Lee. Fontaine helping double up pressure, sends it back, and Wiley chopping one off of Bykov as Blake Barger was also stepping up. Tips control from center. Pilon brings it back in. Right side, drop Fontaine. Cross ice, Bykov, and a save made as that caught the pipe as well. Bykov to the back for Wyatt Wiley. Spins it left corner for Pilon, and protecting against Kaluski. Play back to 5-on-5 as now Dewar right corner. Battles Dylan Hamelick. Tips sent him behind the Seattle net. First on puck now is Harsh, using left boards and backhands it out to center ice. Minute and a half gone by. Wedman brings it back in for the Thunderbirds and drives the net. Centering attempt for Barger. Deflection. Score. Dylan Hamelick looked like got the tap in at the blocker side corner of Carter Hart with 1 minute and 36 seconds gone by here in period 3. He's first out of the pileup, and that's Hamelick's first of this series. And the Tips lead now cut to 5-2.
Well, we saw Wedman earlier give the Silvertips some struggles. His size, his ability over on the far side boards led to a penalty back in the first period. But this time using it to drive the puck to the outside of Carter Hart's net, turned and threw it back in front, hoping somebody would be there. And in fact, somebody was pouncing on it and able to put it past Carter Hart was Dylan Hamelick, getting his first goal of this series.
He headed into this game here, no points in 3 games and was -4. So the rookie gets his first point of this series, and the Tips go back to work trying to build on a 3-goal lead now. Bronson Sharp left wing, low wrist shot save made, and a rebound out of the reach of Ethan O'Rourke. Puck loose the blue line. Skated back out by Kaluski. Thunderbirds lay it back in, blocker side corner of Carter Hart. Recovering is Andre Valla. Leads one ahead to center ice. Left wing Bronson Sharp will toss it back in for the blocker side corner of Hughes. Taken by Sharp, who sent one to the net, and a left pad save by Hughes. Thunderbirds counter. Left side stranded across the line. Snapshot glove save by Carter Hart. And he hangs on now with 17:47 to go here in period 3.
Well, Silvertips now just take a deep breath, and you look back at the start of this period, a power play opportunity almost built the Silvertips lead up to 6-1, but Bykov's one-timer was saved by Hughes, maybe caught a bit of the post, and now back to that 3-goal lead. We talked about it was a strong effort here by the Thunderbirds to come out and get that opening goal in this third period.
Ottenbright to Vulcan, checked by Wiley, jammed one into the slot, but knocked away by Fairbrother, who got the clear. All the way back into the Thunderbird zone it goes. Dewar now up against Harsh, near corner. Seattle spins it back through center. A little more energy now as Vulcan right wing brings it in. Snapshot is knocked down by a defending Fairbrother. Puck loose and to the near side. Worked ahead by Sutter. Had that one chipped free though by Hamelick, who finds Wedman down low. And now loose toward the right corner. Tips regain. Dewar flipped to center. Up along for Pilon. Settles the puck now, brings it in right side. Tried the dangle to the inside and knocked away by Strand. Counterattack for Seattle. Left wing Wedman. Snapshot kick save made by Hart. And that puck steered out of play as we have now 16:57 to go here in period 3. So a couple of critical shifts the Silvertips get through in trying to sustain this 3-goal lead.
Yeah, this clock is obviously their biggest friend, but the Silvertips are not going to be given this one. We expected, the Thunderbirds are defending WHL champions. They are not going to go quietly in this game or this series, and so their fight back here in the third is to be expected.
Tips have Davis back on defense as they spin one on the far side, kept in Strand, and in the side of the right circle, Andrusiak lays one off, and Kaluski's shot missed the net. Phillips sends it back, left point for Lee. Shot blocked by Bykov. Second chance. Lee through traffic and a glove save by Carter Hart. That one tougher than what it looked. And Hart hangs on now with 16:38 to go in period 3.
Bykov came out and did a great job blocking the initial shot by Lee. Came out, good challenge, got a piece of it. Sort of unfortunately settled right under him. He didn't know where it was. Lee did. He kind of swatted at it, got it back, and then wristed one on through a maze of bodies that Hart was able to see and pluck out of midair.
So far, he has turned in a 24 save effort. Tips win the faceoff to his right. Cleared to center by Andre Valla. To the right boards, McLean spins it back in. Tips and Andre Valla send one off to the right side. Ian Walker from center dumps it back into the cross corner. Strand now checked by Kindop. Vitelli takes it behind the net. Walks out right circle. To the blue line for Ian Walker. One-timer jammed by Samuel Ho. Counter-attack for Nikita Malukin. Angle to the outside by Andre Valla. Lays one in behind the Silvertip net. And first on puck is Walker. Up the right for Fasco. Rudison kept in. When Matt Odette is giving the Tips a big diet of Matthew Wedman in this line early on here for period 3. He's still out there, and this one sent down by Ian Walker. That's icing. And we get a whistle now at 15:48 to go in period 3.
We mentioned Wedman because he is such a handful, so tough to deal with. 6'3", nearly 200 pounds, skates well, very tough guy to move off the puck, very tough guy to deal with when he's pursuing you. And right there, the Silvertips trying to clear their zone. Wedman hanging around would not let them do it.
Off the draw, it is one to the Thunderbirds. Vulcan up high, low wrist shot, kick save by Hart off the left pad. Rebound to the right boards, sent wide by Harsh. Hustling in is Girth. Chip by Ottenbright down low. Good hustle by Davis, but pinned by Vulcan. O'Rourke now jumping in and battling Andrusiak. As O'Rourke wins the battle, forcing it up the wall for Girth. Kept in. Ottenbright, high-rising wrist shot. Standing glove save, Carter Hart. And he hangs on now with 15:22 to go here in period 3. The Tips on top 5-2. Secure your tickets to Game 5 WHL Playoffs tomorrow night. And the Tips, who take on the Seattle Thunderbirds, get back at it, 7:05 in downtown Everett. Doors open at 6 p.m. Save money, Saturday Fan 4-pack, 4 tickets, $60. As low as that price. Book now, everettsilvertips.com/playoffs.
Games 1 and 2 had such a good atmosphere in Everett. I know the fans will be out in full force, no matter the outcome here, but especially if they're trying to get their first series victory, if they can hold on here and have a 3-1 lead going into that game tomorrow night.
So false face-off, and it will occur again now at the left circle, Silvertip zone. Tips have outshot Seattle 30-27 and have led wire to wire tonight, as large as 5-1. Hamelick now dangle move, centering toss Andrusiak, and chopped away by Riley Sutter. What a clutch defensive play. Pilon clears ahead out of the reach of Sutter. Ottenbright tape to tape feed. Ahead for Noah Phil, brings it in. Fans on his shot. Second attempt, sent one of the net. Save made by Hart. And a rebound left corner. Philp hangs on, forced up the wall. Spun back down low as Wiley battles Hamelick with 14:55 to go in period 3. Tips control, Fairbrother clears off glass. Ottenbright resetting for Strand. In the Seattle zone, moved ahead for Philp. Almost jammed away by Fontaine, but Seattle gradually works it back behind Carter Hart, who played one to the far side, kept in Andrusiak. Lays it right corner, and Hamelick checked by Wyatt Wiley. 14:33 to go here in the third period. Tips on top 5-2. Here in game 4. Up 2-1, and Wiley and Fontaine jumping in down low. Richards forcing it up wall, kept in by Ho. Given right back, and Richards up the middle. His pass turned away, Seattle zone by Jake Lee. Left wing feed ahead for Ho. Deflection for Andrusiak to the net, gloved by Carter Hart. And he hangs on now with 14:09 to go here in period 3.
Silvertips just need to kind of keep their wits about them, because you can see they got a little antsy there. Battle for the puck, extended battle for the puck along the far side boards, and the Silvertips came up with it pretty cleanly after it came to the blue line and then back down. And Bykov streaking down the ice, wanted to get some sort of a pass, try and send him through on a breakaway, but it was about 10 feet behind him, and just kind of have to go about their normal business right now.
Seattle wins his face-off and sent back to the blue line. Shot by Williams and blocked by traffic. Give credit, Reese Vitelli taking care of business. Tips force it back in. Trying to come back after being outshot 6-1 in the early going here of this third period. Kindop battling along the wall right side. Vasco Rudis jumping in. Kindop toward the slot. Puck knocked away as he sent one to the line. One-timer Andre Vala rockets high and wide. And a rebound left boards carried out by Mike McLean. Seattle back on the move as McLean dumps it in. Puck loose behind the net, and Vala spun to the far boards. Relays it back out. Here comes Reese Vitelli. Chip and chase. Left wing skates into the offensive zone. Pulls up and hit by Turner Ottenbright. Puck freed up, cleared. Here comes Wedman. Left wing and across the line by one. Shoot, score! Matthew Wedman off a dangle move to the inside with back-to-back goals in the first 6 minutes and 41 seconds. As Wedman moved in, he beat Carter Hart, blocker's side, and picks up his first of this series. It's a 5-3 game.
Well, Matthew Wedman is a one-man wrecking crew right now, as he was playmaker on the first goal of this period for Seattle, and then here with the puck on his stick and some open ice, going right at the Silvertips defense, right around it, and then getting the shot to go right through Carter Hart.
So the Tips' work is not done, obviously, as they bring it back in Dewar, dropping it for Pilon, Seattle zone. Pair of goals to give Seattle a bit of a boost here. Tips need a couple of good shifts here to turn the tide. 12:57 to go here in the third period. It's a 5-3 game. As Pilon left corner, hangs on to it, watched by Ottenbright through one of the net, and just skipped wide off Riley Sutter. Dewar now side of the right circle, sent one back, and Davis couldn't hold the line. And to center it goes, Sophie Christensen, who drives it back in behind the Seattle net.
A few moments of deep breaths here for the Silvertips, and see if they can collect themselves.
Puck to center. Here comes Noah Philp, right wing. And across the line, fakes a shot, fires, and blocked by traffic. It deflects and back, Tips control. And Bykov flipping ahead out of the air. And that one, I think, hit a Silvertip along the way, but they recover. And now Bykov brings it back in. Right side, and harassed by Jake Lee. And a puck free to the right corner. 12:10 to go here in the third. The Tips managing a 2-goal lead. As Philp lumbers his center, dump back in. First to touch is Wyatt Wiley and shakes off Volkin. Left side, Vala to Fontaine. Spun to center, ahead to Richards. He'll chip it back in and goes to work left corner against Toretta. Check thrown by Richards. Bykov to the back now for Vala. Return one in front. Here's Richards and knocked free. Has a puck loose left corner. And Richards leaving it for Bykov. Seattle throwing the body a little bit more now. Inside 12 minutes left, Volkin is center. Shot one of the net. Save made Carter Hart. Rebound right side. Wiley jumping in. Andrusiak throws one in deep. Spun away by Fairbrother. To the far boards, Vasco Rudis. Trying to move one out, taken by Andrusiak. Sent back for Owen Williams. His shot speared aside by Carter Hart. Rebound cleared ahead. Hustling now is Kindop, right side, pulls up to the circle. Sent one Fasco Rudis, right corner. Protects the puck. Lays it right corner for Kindop. Checked by Williams. Kindop sends it back. Riley Sutter, low wrist shot, kick save Hughes. Rebound to the right corner. Sutter takes it behind the net. Sends one up high. Dewar fans on a one-timer. Puck to center, and we have 10:47 to go in period 3. Silvertips 5, Thunderbirds 3. Tips now lay it back in Seattle zone. Carry back out by Kaluski. Flips it back in, blocker side corner of Carter Hart. Spun to the far side, heavy check backboards, and that wiped out Ian Walker as Jake Lee from center tosses this one up and out. And we have 10:27 to go in the third. Wedman's goal for Mike McLean, that's the only assist, and that came at 6:41.
Well, Silvertips strung together a couple of good shifts there. Got back to doing some things, playing hockey mainly, not just trying to go out there and skate their way through the 20 minutes. Got back to pushing the puck deep into the Thunderbirds' end, then attacking, getting physical, and keeping the play down there. They don't want to keep this. They don't want to play in the neutral zone right now because the Thunderbirds are flying around.
Barger sends it in. Tips control, right corner, and Davis now checked by Hamelick as Christensen maneuvers it around and out of the right side. Play by Pilon to center. Off of Jake Lee, and Sutter pokes the back Seattle line. Return to Ottenbright up the right. Off of Philp. First on puck is Davis, and lays it back for Jake Christensen. Deep in the tip zone. Right wing side. Lead toss off of Pilon. Down it goes, no icing. First on puck is Dewar behind the Seattle net. Drawing 3. Count them 3 defenders. 9:45 to go. And to help out is Fontaine. Dewar sends it back, taken away by Wedman. Fed one cross ice, right wing. Andrusiak brings it in. Looking at Wedman in a backhander, knocked down by Wyatt Wiley. And deflecting now to the trapezoid. 9:30 left. Tips up 5-3. Andrusiak angles one of the blue line. Shot by Williams, well high and wide. Good chip by Sean Richards. Got the puck clear to center. And Williams lays it now for Austin Strand. Right side. Williams shoots it back in. Glove to blocker side of Carter Hart. And play to the near side, kept in. Kaluski on a pass in front, knocked away. Tips regain. Wyatt Wiley, high off the glass. Clears the back in Thunderbird zone. Played by Harsh. Tips are changing. Stretch pass right wing. Kaluski and across the line. Chopped away by Ian Walker. They battle into the right corner with 8:50 left here in regulation. Tips up 5-3. Ian Walker frees it. Tips are back on the move. Fasco Rudis. Lead toss off of Kindop, and Harsh spins it back in. Tip zone. Walker to play left side Vola. Ahead on left wing Kindop. Takes a check by Harsh. Pulls up. Low to high pass Vola. Sent cross ice. Ian Walker is offside. And we get back to play with 8:18 to go in period 3. Tips up 5-3 here in game 4. As Garrett Pilon lays it back in up front with Sutter and Connor Dewar. And a heavy check by Sutter, left corner, sent wide into the right circle. Wiley steps in and a shot save made by Liam Hughes. Rebound behind the net. Sutter untangles it now from Ottenbright. Spun one to the Seattle crease, and Hughes scoops it up before Garrett Pilon got right in front. And a whistle now with 7:58 to go in period 3.
Well, like I was saying before the break, Silvertips did some good things there just before the immediate timeout. Skated a lot harder, made life a lot more difficult. They were kind of just going through the motions, again, thinking that maybe the Thunderbirds had packed it in. But the body language at the end of the second period for Seattle might not have been good, but their activity to start the third period has been really good. So the Silvertips have got to respond to that here in the closing stages of this third period.
Right circle face-off, Tips control. Bykov sent one back. Fairbrother one-timer, blocker save Hughes. And a rebound to the left corner for Bykov. Trying to move one away from Strand. Against the kick plate. Nearby is Fontaine. Bykov sends it back. Fairbrother's shot ricochets off Hamelick to center. And Davis spins it back in from the red line to the far boards. Strand for Jake Lee. Jammed away by Fontaine. Plays one right corner. Nearby for Sean Richards. Up high. Bykov shoots just wide. Rebound for Fontaine. Blue line Christensen now for Fontaine again. Knocked away by Hamelick. Tapped ahead for Strand. Lead toss up the right wing. Philp into the offensive zone. Sharp angled shot missed the net well wide. Play by Bykov the center. Tips may have numbers if they hustle. Bykov right wing into the offensive zone. Dropped it, Fontaine, right circle for Richards. Now to the slot. Knocked away by Strand. Richards again. His shot blocked. Vascarudas darting in. Knocked away as that one sent ahead by Seattle. And Hamelick for Strand. Airmail to center and back into the Silvertip zone.
And you see they continue to do it now. It's not that easy to come out and be that aggressive if you're the Thunderbirds when you have to play from your own end. Right now, Silvertips getting great pressure, although they are called for an icing here.
Yeah, Bryce Kindop had the deflection, but just a few feet behind center red. So we'll come back into the Silvertip zone now with 6:39 to go in period 3, and the Silvertips still on top of the Seattle Thunderbirds 5-3. Tips goals this evening: Bykov, Davis, Dewar, Richards, and O'Rourke. For the Thunderbirds, Volkan, Hamelick, and Matthew Wedman. Tips will bring out Riley Sutter against Wedman. Two of the big face-off faces, and Sutter won the battle. Puck free, Duvall right side. Relayed Pilon back out of the zone. In deep it goes, Thunderbirds end. Taken by Harsh and jammed away now by Riley Sutter. Sent behind the Seattle net. Swiped away by Dewar, up against Ottenbright. Left corner now for Sutter. Worked on by Harsh. Hangs on, left side, sharp angled shot, save made by Hughes. Tips don't mind that. They keep the puck away, 200 feet away from Carter Hart. But now 6:11 to go in period 3, and the Tips on top by 3.
Yeah, right. A quick exit of the Everett zone, pursuit of the puck down to the Seattle end, and then forced a turnover from Harsh. Won a battle against Ottenbright, won a battle in the far corner, shot on goal. That's a great shift by that group. And now they need to repeat that a few times to the Silvertips.
O'Rourke wins a face-off. Snap shot wide by Spencer Girth, and a puck kept in by Wiley. From the right side, he sends it behind the net. First on puck is Ottenbright for Seattle. Left side for Toretta. Relays ahead for Samuel Ho, skates to center. Up along from McLean, dumped it back in. Andre Vala first on puck, and knocks it away from Ho behind the Silvertip net. Played now by O'Rourke. That one jammed away by McLean. Up the right side, Spencer Girth tried to relay it back out. Kept in, steal by Wyatt Wiley. Here he comes to center. Wiley on right wing, low wrist shot. Save made by Hughes. Fat rebound, nobody around it though but Jackson Kaluski. Seattle skates one ahead. Kaluski dumps it back in for a change. 5:23 to go in period 3. The Tips lead the series 2-1. Lead game 4, 5-3. Davis up the right side. Tips spinning back in Seattle zone. Taken away by Philp, reversing up the boards. Along to Barger. Knocked away Fairbrother. Tips and Vitelli get the clear. To center red. Owen Williams drives it back in. Tip zone to the glove side boards of Carter Hart. Philp dropping it for Barger. Into the slot. Jammed away by Fairbrother again. Right side Bykov. Volleys one to center. Turned back by Strand to the right wing. Philp into the offensive zone. Puck is centered in front. Now Hamelick, save made by Carter Hart. That was a big save to keep it. A 2-goal Tips lead. Williams from the line. A shot tumbles end over end out of play. And we have 4:36 to go in period 3. The Tips maintain their 5-3 lead.
Yeah, save, and maybe got a little help from the pipe too, as that was a kind of a puck that caromed into the laps of the Thunderbirds there to create that opportunity after I was about to say the Silvertips had done such a good job keeping the puck pinned out of dangerous areas, just bounced right to them and right in front. Golden opportunity to get Seattle within 1, but it goes by the wayside.
Every big face-off here is basically Sutter against Wedman, and Sutter wins a big face-off again. Back in the zone, Tips clear. One-on-one Pilon left wing into the offensive zone pass. Ottenbright right side, tucks it in front, save, rebound, in front, score! Riley Sutter! Post to post off the feed by Garrett Pilon. 4:23 to go in the third. Is that a big Silvertips goal? They lead 6-3.
That's a huge goal, Mike, an absolutely huge goal. The pressure, was coming. You could see what Seattle wanted to do, taking gambles, taking risks, keeping the puck, keeping the pressure in the Everett end, and the Silvertips just realizing that smartly, play it up the boards hard. May have seemed like it was going to go for icing, but Pilon raced out after it, and then he took on Ottenbright right to the front of the net, drew out Hughes. The puck was just sitting there. Pilon followed up with it, got it centered to Sutter, who finished it off with Hughes out of his net.
It's his first of the series, set up by Garrett Pilon, who is having a dynamite series. And Pilon gets his first point of the night. 5th in 4 games, and the Tips extend the lead back to 3 with now 4:19 to go in regulation.
And it took the wind out of the sails. I mean, it was all Seattle here in this third period. They came out, got a couple of goals. Wedman was a superhero for them this period, putting the team on his back. And the pressure, Silvertips started to deal with it, kind of like they did in the first period last night, dealt with it, and then got their own chance.
Tips dump it back in, and here's a public address confirmation.
Connor Dewar. Time to goal, 15:37.
So 15:37, it's Sutter from Pilon and Dewar. Down to less than 4 minutes left here in regulation. Tips up 6-3 in game 4. Trying to take a 3-1 series lead with game 5 on home ice tomorrow night. To the blue line for Seattle Toretta. Cross ice, left side. Williams dangled, didn't work. Blocked by Spencer Girth. Ian Walker ahead to Girth, right boards. Forces 1-2 center with 3:31 to go in the third. Tips fire it back out of play. More contact by the Seattle bench as tempers erupting. Girth into it. Looked like with Samuel Ho of Seattle. And we have 3.5 to go here in regulation against Sutter from Pilon and Dewar. Who else to manufacture a big goal but that line to make it a 6-3 game?
Yeah, it was a good effort, a great clear, good skating, terrific speed from Pilon. You know, I mentioned in the second period, Mike, that it was kind of no angle to take on Ottenbreit, and Pilon doubled back. Well, the angle wasn't there to take on Ottenbreit again, but decided to go for it anyways. Went right into the body of the big defenseman, the captain of the Thunderbirds, and he got the puck into a dangerous area, kept control of it, got a shot on Hughes, and then set up Sutter, who was able to put away on that second opportunity.
3:23 to go. Noah Philp took a relay at the right wing, but it's offside Thunderbirds, and so the clock stopping now with 3 minutes and 22 seconds to go here in period 3. If you don't have your playoff tickets, don't waste time. Jump on right now. EverettSilvertips.com/playoffs. Doors open 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Opening face-off 7:05 at the corner of Hewitt and Broadway. With the Tips trying to close this game 4 out and make tomorrow night an elimination game. Seattle shoots one of the net off the glass, gloved by Carter Hart out of the air. And a whistle now with 3:14 to go in regulation.
Well, right now, it looks a lot more friendly up there on the scoreboard. With 5, and it was 5-3 with 8 minutes to go. That seemed like an eternity, but it was an eternity ago, as that goal from Sutter has now given the Silvertips the breathing room I think they need to close this thing out, as the Thunderbirds are going to go for it here, Mike, pulling their goaltender Hughes.
So 6-on-5 now with 3:14 to go, and it will be a timeout now called by what looks like Matt Odette. Correction, actually, Dennis Williams on the Silvertips side here. So a chance to regather now with 3:14 left. Device strategy here for a face-off to the right eventually, nearby Carter Hart.
Right, this is an instance where you just want to make sure that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, and everybody knows the assignment on this face-off. Maybe a little bit by surprise, finding out that the Thunderbirds are going to bring on the extra attacker down 3 goals with 3 minutes. I mean, you know, it's a desperation move, but these are desperate times for the defending WHL champions. So the extra attacker out there, the Silvertips will want to make sure that assignments are known. And, you know, this is an area, Mike, where shot blocking is huge. There's so much, so many bodies on the ice. You want to make sure that you get in front of any shooting lanes.
Tips win the face-off. Wiley at the left corner. A battle now joins in as Wedman angles one to the blue line, and a one-timer by Ottenbreit bounced wide off traffic. And ahead to center ice, Fontaine clears one of the empty net. Hit the pipe and negates the icing call. Dewar checked into the back by Ottenbreit, but the Tips tie the puck up now. As Sutter sends it behind the vacant Seattle net. First a touch is Hamelick, turned away. Fontaine shoots and scores! Matt Fontaine from center ice. A 65-foot heave toward the vacant net. your dagger with 2:45 to go in regulation. And Matt Fontaine picks up on the series. Number 3. It's 7-3 Silvertips.
Well, that's a extra insurance goal there for the Silvertips, as if it wasn't over before, it certainly is now. 4-goal cushion with less than 3 minutes to go. What an effort there by everybody with the extra attacker out there. Send it down the ice, chase after it all the way. Dewar battling for it, Fontaine picking it up and snapping one in from just past the blue line.
Tips getting goal scorers here from 7 different contributors. The goal is unassisted at 17-15. And Seattle goes back to work in deep behind Carter Hart. And a puck sent back to the right circle, McLean, leaving it for Kaluski inside the line. Right corner toss. O'Rourke now battling Samuel Ho with 2:13 to go as Seattle sends it toward the near corner. And taken away by Jake Christensen. Up the right side and cleared back out by Gianni Fairbrother. Right side, Toretta dumps it back in. Around to the left boards with 1:58 to go. Tips fans making their voices and cowbells heard now as Liam Hughes is back in net. But the Tips have opened it up again. 7-3 their lead. Tonight scoring on their first penalty shot goal in playoff franchise history. And tacking on 7 in this critical game 4. Reese Vitelli in the right corner. Sent one to the point for Wiley. His shot hit the outside of the net. With 1:28 to play. Harsh up the left boards, cleared by Malukin. Puck bouncing toward the far side. Andre Vala smacks it back in. Kindup attacking now left corner. Low to high pass, shot by Vala, deflecting wide off of Girth. And out of the right side, Wiley sent one behind the net. Here's Sutter in front to Vitelli, smacked away by Hughes. 1:05 to go in regulation. Tips are going to move up 3-1 with Game 5 tomorrow night on their own home ice. That tells you, folks, how important it is. 53 seconds left. Seattle clears, and the Tips are on their way to 2 straight wins in the playoffs here in Kent, Washington. They had one previously in franchise history tonight, heading into this week, actually. Tips work it back in with 42.7 seconds left. They get a whistle here as this one out of play, and a faceoff will come back at center ice.
Yeah, they really did away with some of the the curse in this building in the regular season, and maybe that's the regular season and this is the playoffs. But you know what? They came in here and they took care of business again in the playoffs, just like they did in the second half of the regular season.
Don't forget, doors open at 6 tomorrow night. Opening faceoff at 7:05. You can already feel how loud it's going to be out there at the corner of Hewitt and Broadway. 23 seconds left. 7-3 Silvertips here in Kent, Washington. About to go up 3-1. Jake Lee to center for Seattle. From the red, dump one to the net. Save made Carter Hart. Christensen to the far boards. Off of Bronson. Sharp, it's cleared. With 5 seconds left, one last touch for Jake Lee to close out Game 4. And how sweet it is. The Everett Silvertips go up 3-1. Swiping 2 wins in Kent, Washington. And tonight putting up a series high 7 goals. Your final score, the Silvertips 7. And the Seattle Thunderbirds 3. The Tips lead the series 3-1.